Hey guys, it's Chris with FrawlFoss21. I'm here to do a bag video. You might have seen some of my other ones, but as a disc golfer, my bag is often evolving, so I'm here to give you guys an update. I carry the Fade bag with Innova Backsaver straps. It's great for carrying along a lot of your discs. I'll start with my putters. I carry 3 putters. My main putter being the Gateway Super Soft Voodoo. Gateway makes great putters, especially the Voodoo. It flies super straight and it really just absorbs the chains, and basically my main putter. I carry the Discraft Zone, which is more of my driving putter. It has a stability of 2, so I might break it out in the wind, but usually it's a little too stable to use as a putter even in extreme winds, so basically used for driving. And then I also carry the MVP Ion. Check out our Ion review to learn more about it, but it's similar to a Voodoo and it's really just a backup. I carry 6 mid-ranges, so mid-range is a large part of the game. The first being my Innova Star Mako. The Mako has a speed of 4, a glide of 5, and a turn of fade of both 0, which makes it super straight. You don't have to throw it with a lot of power, and it still carries quite a long ways. It parks right next to the pin, and this particular one is 180 grams, which makes it a decent putter in windy conditions. I carry a Crow, which is more stable Mako. You can throw it with a lot more power, and it still parks right next to the holes. Use this for my longer mid-range shots. For shorter holes, sometimes I'll drive with this. I also carry a Champion Spider, which is kind of like a less stable Crow. I think it flies similar to the Crow, except it doesn't have that large fade at the end of the throw. So it doesn't get a lot of use, but it's a great disc to have. I also carry the Discmania Fiend. I consider it kind of like a cross between a Rock and a Mako, so more stable than a Mako, less stable than a Rock. You can throw it with a lot of power. Has a really small bead on it, which is nice for a good grip. And it really just parks next to the hole like all my other mid-ranges. I carry the MVP Vector, which is a mid-range. I throw it with a lot of power, and it always ends up right next to the holes. More of a driving mid-range, but if I have a long fairway shot, I might break this out. Then, of course, I have the Buzz, which is more of a driving mid-range as well, but long fairway shots, you can break out the Buzz. It holds pretty much any line you put it on. Anheuser's, it's a great disc to have. If you don't have a Buzz, definitely get one. I carry 3 fairways, first being the Discraft Impact. Really, this doesn't get a lot of use. It has a stability of 0, so if there's any wind whatsoever, it's not the disc to use. But no wind, you put it on a nice hyzer, it'll flip up and carry for a long ways and finish virtually straight. So if you're looking for a straight shot in the woods or straight fairway shot, no wind, definitely get the Impact. It's a great disc to have. And I have the Eagle and T-Bird from Innova. Basically just use these for tee shots on more shorter holes, but they both fly pretty similarly. They start out really straight, and then they have usually a nice smooth fade at the end of the flight. So Eagle and T-Bird are definitely my 2 most used fairways, and I like them a lot. I carry quite a few distance drivers. I carry the Hysteria from Discmania. It's pretty overstable. The Starfire, it's also pretty overstable, so you can throw it backhand. It has a turn of 0 and a fade of 3, so at the end of the flight it finishes hard to the left. I carry the Orc, kind of like a less stable Starfire. You throw it with a decent amount of power and it'll finish pretty straight. Small anhyzer, it'll end up definitely straight for you. The Champion Wraith, just a Wraith, so nothing special about it. You can throw it with a lot of power, and it'll anhyzer a small amount and then finish pretty straight for you. The T-Rex, this is actually becoming one of my most favorite backhand distance drivers. You can really just throw it as hard as you want. It'll anhyzer just a little bit, and it'll always finish with a little bit of fade at the end of the flight. It's not the hardest cutting disc I have, but definitely check out the T-Rex if you're looking for a disc that can be used as forehand and backhand. Backhand is mainly what I'm using this for these days. I carry 2 Avery Jenkins Star Destroyers. from his 2009 World Championship. These are just my most used drivers for sure. You can throw these as hard as you want backhand, as hard as you want forehand, and they're always going to finish pretty straight. They do have a little bit of fade at the end of the flight, but definitely check them out. I will say for backhand, they do finish a lot harder to the left than forehand. Forehand, they tend to Anheuser slightly and then finish more straight. For me, at least. I have the Pulse from Discraft, which has that unique thumb track on the outside of the disc. Basically forehand, it has a stability of 1.9, so I have broken it out backhand before, but it's kind of similar to a Destroyer actually, so I like the Pulse. I have an X-Out Star Boss. I'm using this backhand. Tends to Anheuser slightly at the beginning of the flight, and it finishes hard to the left at the end of the flight, so it's a good disc to have. Then I have the Ape, which is definitely my most stable disc. Backhand is tough for me on this disc. It has a turn of 0 and a fade of 4, so if I throw this backhand, it usually ends up over in Switzerland. For forehand, this disc is great for uphill shots because it is so overstable. Really is becoming one of my most used drivers on the uphill shots because I can throw it quite a long ways and it is so overstable. I carry the Flick from Discraft. Look at the profile on that, it's virtually like nothing. Has a stability of 2, but it is 150 class, so put this on a small Anheuser and it'll go quite a long ways. It's decent in the wind because it has such a low profile that the wind really is not pushing it around a lot. So definitely check out the Flick. Then I carry the Discmania Frenzy. When I got this disc, I pretty much compared it to a more fast and a more stable Katana, but now that it has become broken in, it really is just flying similar to a Katana. It's in the P-line plastic, so if it gets beat up quite a bit, and after it gets broken in, similar to a Katana. So yeah, I have some minis in the bag, and then I have the cup holders on the side, which are great for your drinks, and then 2 large pockets on the bag for your phone, wallet, keys, whatnot. So that's my bag. Be on the lookout for more of our videos.